You don't seem to catch my drift, is the problem. Time to suicide.
Wait, what?
You don't catch my drift at all. Time to suicide.
I was stalking a game.
Bruh.
You know, Albert Einstein once said, E equals MC squared, so I mean, put that into perspective and, you got yourself a bargain.
Yeah, dude, Einstein equals Minecraft squared, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of it this way, Einstein did fall...
Fell out of a tree, dude. That's how he discovered gravity.
He fell, Einstein did fall a little too far from that tree, and then the early bird came around and it stole the word from him. And then Einstein came up with the phrase, the bird is the word, and then at that point, sticks and stones did break his bones, so I mean, you can't blame him at that point. It's just a sad life, you know what I mean?
Am I having a stroke right now?
And then what happens, the early worm, it summons the forces, and you know, they say, that they're not gonna get the worm, but they will, because the apple is gonna fall too far from the tree, resulting in more snow, because Groundhog Day is not gonna exist one day. And, at that point, you know, it came around and it went around, and when it ran around, it had sticks and stones that did end up breaking your bones. See what I mean?
If you have that apple each day, and in the end, you will be the early bird. That's what I'm saying.
See, the thing is, they think it'll keep the doctor away, but it actually won't. It's actually going to bring more doctors, because they're going to keep going around, and they're going to keep coming around. And at that point, the early bird is going to steal the worm away from them. And then the apple's going to fall on their head. But at that point, they're laying down, so it falls a little too far from the tree, and then they lose all their great responsibility, which doesn't come with great power. It actually comes with sticks and stones. See, everyone's been deceived this whole time.
I'm playing Far Cry 4 at the moment. I'm far away and I'm crying, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I almost got executed for blasphemy. I really don't understand. I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, Copernicus was wrong this whole time. I mean, back in the old days, I was telling him, you kind of have to use E equals MC squared, but he didn't agree with me. And that's why, he didn't have the great power, if you know what I mean.
You've met Copernicus?
Yeah. You didn't?
Get his autograph?
He was at, I mean, no, because he was kind of mad at me because he didn't agree with me. But, he was at, Comic-Con, like, 500 years ago, so, I mean... were you not there? What happened? You must have been working on your formulas, I see. It's pretty, acceptable, if you ask me. And that apples are really apples, and that I'm dead.
You're dead?
Yeah. The world's gone bad, and, at that point, you need a composting bin. And once you have that, you're kind of set for life, if you know what I mean.
Ducky left.
That's just life.
Ducky left, dude. Why isn't Ducky trying to listen in on these apples, dude?
He doesn't believe. See, that's the point of him, and he, see, unlike, most like everyone else, he did indeed drink that Kool-Aid, and, see, it was cherry flavored instead of apple flavored, and at that point, apples didn't equal apples. You know, the silver spoon is not going to be clean the next time you use it, therefore you can't eat your apples. Because you don't eat apples with forks as many do in this world, you actually have to eat them with spoons. Sporks is what the classy people do, but at that point, apples just don't equal apples.
Yeah, you can't use a spork. It will ruin the equivalency of apples.
True. I mean, and at that point...
Racist or anything, but have you guys ever noticed how white spoons are generally weaker than black spoons?
Now, see, that is simply not true. All right, they
Yeah, why
are
don't you tell 'em?
proficient
Why don't you tell 'em?
at different. They're proficient in different areas of use.
At that point, the space-time continuum has to halt, and it has to preach to them that E does really equal MC squared. You see, at this point, 2021 doesn't exist. We're still in 1501.
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're still in 1501, and that I only met Copernicus about 3 years ago at Comic-Con. He was there, and you know, many people don't believe me, obviously, because they can't see it themselves. But it just, we're still in the preaching era, and at that point, we're just gonna be here until people realize that apples really do equal apples.
Why are you doing
True, dude. People are so unbelieving nowadays. They aren't willing to believe the facts. The world has really changed for the worse.
Indeed. I mean, you take Mitch here, who has just joined this what we call a voice chat, which is really just a fake voice chat. But I mean, because it is.
This isn't even really my voice. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a
this is why
simulation.
people are so untrusting. You don't know the truth. Everything is lying to you.
I mean, some may or may not think that E equals MC squared. So, but the thing is, they've been wrong this whole time. Just like when you heat up your coffee, it's not actually being heated up. The atoms are actually believing in E equals MC squared. They're not moving around.
It's true.
They're believing.
That's true.
So
I
when the
believe that.
atoms believe that
Atoms
equals MC
themselves
squared,
are using their conscience.
exactly, and then they're enlightened, and with enlightened, the great power comes out of them, which gives great responsibility to the reader. So when the reader drinks, if he doesn't believe, he'll be burned by the coffee.
That's true.
At that point, I mean, and the people who do drink tea, see, there's no responsibility in the tea. It's based on the hydrogen to oxygen, and at that point, E doesn't exactly equal MC squared. It's off by a few decimals, and when you're off by a few decimals, if E doesn't equal MC squared, then at that point, apples don't equal apples. Therefore, the Earth's crust is really made out of cheese.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. You can eat the
I've
ground.
I've seen it. I've even done it.
The Earth really has all of the sustenance you need to survive. You don't need anything.
The people who do have strange addictions, like eating rocks or they're actually
They're
really
actually in the right.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the ones who are awakened to our true nature as human beings.
See, we can tell anyone that what they believe that's cheese is actually poop. I lost it. I've been going on for like 20 minutes now with a straight face, and I just lost
Can you
it.
tell me how
I
this all
just lost
started?
Because Josh said the early bird gets the worm, and then we just started making shit up. Just using these phrases.
Indeed, E does equal MC squared. See, at that point, the E actually stands for Epistory, and the MC stands for Minecraft. And
And did Dream fake his
I mean, yeah. See, the thing is, Dream a long time ago, back in the 1430s, he didn't drink the Kool-Aid. So at that point, he didn't believe that equaled MC squared.
What is the Kool-Aid? Why do you keep going back to the Kool-Aid?
You know what the Kool-Aid is. We all know
Excuse me, sorry about that. The Kool-Aid was actually tree bark flavored. I mean, I am being possessed though. It seems the spirits come down on me, and they're not forgiving. At that point, the sun.
Sun loses it at the sun. Really?
Yo, what about
the sun
truth
is
and
cone
the
shaped.
truth?
So, see, we've never actually gone to the other side of the sun, and at that point, it comes to a point, and at the very end of the point.
Yes, we have. Yes, we actually. Oh no, I forgot. The Earth is flat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
yes,
forgot.
Yeah, we gotta start digging through the sun.
See, it would
Of course,
seem
I
you're
forgot
starting to
that
be
the Earth is
possessed. You
flat.
cannot give in to this. And at that point, on the other side of the sun, where it comes to a point, there is a message there, and the message is from the man who created E equals MC squared. Now, a lot of people may think it's Albert Einstein, but it's actually not. It's the guy who created apples to apples. And at that point, we don't know who that is. So it's this random G-man, and he is really
G-Man.
trying to
Yeah.
explain to us. And at that point, it's not G-man from Valve. I mean, it's just it's at that point it's just TF2 heavy. You know what I mean? Oh no, it's Carl Weezer. See, at that point, Carl Weezer is actually a spherical shape. Why is that? Because Carl Weezer and his friends do indeed believe in E equals MC squared, and at that point, apples really do equal apples, because one day when the Kool-Aid was being passed out, they were sick, so they cannot drink it. Therefore, that's why they're in the simulation world. And at that point, let me finish.
True, I have to agree with
And
that.
then, you know, at that point, what went around did come around. So, in theory, E does equal MC squared. What now?
Josh, shut the up.
I'm trying to explain my point here.
Yeah, you don't interrupt his sermon.
Dude, I mean, can I ask you a quick question here? Have you ever drank Kool-Aid before?
No. Yeah.
Okay, and in other words, you have now been denied from
Interesting
the
fact
cool
here, the
world.
government is using Kool-Aid to corrupt your brain.
Yes,
Your
indeed.
thought processing will be limited to 20% of its capacity each time you drink Kool-Aid.
Indeed, so at this
You're
point,
gonna-
it's down to 32.312895%.
The Earth is
Hold on,
an
there's-
inverted hexagon.
You don't seem to catch my drift, is the problem. Time to suicide.
Wait, what?
You don't catch my drift at all. Time to suicide.
I was stalking a game.
It does not exist.
It was actually Gatorade apple flavor, which some may actually doesn't think it
Apple-flavored
exists.
Gatorade.
Some may not
I've
believe
been
me.
so blind to
Some
not
may not
realize
believe
it
me,
was
but-
How could I have been
apple-flavored
so
Gatorade.
It actually does exist, but see, the ones that will not believe me are actually the ones that don't think that apples equal apples. I
Some
mean,
may call us crazy, but we refer to ourselves as the Awakened.
Oh my
indeed, the awakened and the enlightened. It's like almost like a motorcycle club.
It's a package deal. We are everything that is good in the world.
But see, the grenade is actually what actually is in the grenade. It's filled with apple Gatorade,
Oh my god.
so that it will infect the unjust, who will then be purified. Oh, dude, I'm getting kills here. I'm
It has
just killing all the
joined the way.
Oh, Ducky, leave.
I'm killing all these
Ducky.
non-believers. Yeah, see, at that point, they have moved on from the days of what you would call the temptment, which some may believe it's not a word, but actually it is a word. See, the Oxford Dictionary, whoever wrote it, actually drank.
Ox Dictionary. It's the Ox Dictionary, dude.
See, the reason that the minions are yellow is
4K.
because they've been drinking pineapple Kool-Aid, and they've drank so much of it that they've actually been unpurified.
Dude,
So
you're so
therefore-
wrong with this. Shut the up.
I mean, you may or may not believe.
Dude, it's been an hour inside the
It's time to kill some of these non-believers.
Like Ducky.
We will slaughter them like the animals they are.
non-believers like what? I don't even know what you're believing.
Exactly. At that point, you don't know because you
you're
don't
not
believe
believer,
that
that's why.
apple Gatorade.
There's no
is
way
indeed
that you
a
can
thing.
comprehend it because your mental capacity has been reduced by the Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
Exactly,
You're a freshman
indeed,
as well,
yes.
so that's also what factors in.
Cool.
Ooh.